Hi all, Kitamari here, playing the Mushroom Musume demo. Next Fest demo, wishlist Mushroom Musume on Steam today. I will have, it's this password thing, I'll have a link in the description if you want to check this out. Another Next Fest entry here, Mushroom Musume. So, gonna head to the settings real quick. I used to do that all the time. I have it in windowed mode so I can kind of see my time, make sure that I probably should get like a stopwatch or something. I actually have a watch on my wrist, so that should be my stopwatch, but alas. Let's go ahead and show daughter info. See, these are a little hard to... They're beautiful, but the font, it's a little hard to see what's what, but it's okay. It's not a problem. We're going to start... Oh, Almanac. What is it about? Oh, this just tells us about the creators and all that. It's cool. Created by Elita. I like that name. Autumn Greenlee. I like that name too. Zao... Zoruzuna. Let's go and start. Once upon a time, there was a humble recluse. Though they had no need for society, they did often find themselves home to a loneliness that they could never quite shake. In the morning, the sun would rise. At night, it would set. The recluse would observe this splendor, knowing that the sight would be made all the more beautiful by having someone to share it with. It wasn't that they desired a relationship, perhaps it was a flame that had burned them one too many times, or perhaps they were simply disinterested. No, a child, that's what they wanted. Someone to take care of, to teach. Unfortunately, it was a longing that could not be found, not in these woods alone. As the sun ever rises, that reminds me a bit of Valhalla, VA11 Hall A, the way that this music is there. However, we are never quite as alone as we think, are we? One day, a witch appeared, as if drawn by the intensity of the recluse's desire. The lumber that the recluse had spent the morning gathering slipped through their hands as they spotted her, the witch of the woods. She began to speak. You desire a child, yes? For some, those are quite easy to come by, but not you, it would seem. Let us make a deal then. If you do 3 simple chores for me, I will present you with a daughter of your very own. The recluse, caught up in a moment of naivete, quickly agreed. The witch, knowing that the recluse was destined to accept, simply nodded and began to deliver the first of these so-called chores without hesitation. Your child will come into this world with little to her name. Let us even the scales. Bring me an heirloom, something she will forever value. The recluse thought on it briefly, searching through their home for the object they had pictured. An old bottle of medicine that has sat unopened. A hair bow from your previous daughter, blackened with age. Your most used cast iron skillet. Okay, I'll pick this one. Passed down from generation to generation, the skillet seasoning has never once let an ancestor down. It wouldn't let their daughter down either. It will serve her for her entire life, and with luck, she will live on to pass it to someone else, too. Bringing their prize back to the witch, she simply gave a smile. How perfect. After their brief detour to meet with the witch, the recluse resumed their normal day-to-day schedule. The second day. The recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. Having a purpose again soothed them, even if they had found themselves caught up with a witch. They elected not to think about that, though. Instead, when the morning came, they simply did what they had to do, which is to say, they got up and went to meet with the witch. Upon watching the recluse's approach, a sardonic smile lit the witch's face. You completed your first task admirably. 2 more and I can finally give you what you want. She paused for only a moment before delivering her next message of import. Growth struggles to be achieved without presence. Offer me that which embodies the emotion you would provide for your daughter. The recluse pondered for a moment, thinking of what they had to offer. A prized gem fragment, a stone lawn ornament, a tear-stained portrait. A buried memory was retrieved from the recluse's nightstand. The hope was that the subject's lonesome lilac leer would provide their daughter a humbling understanding of mortality to enrich their view on life. I don't know about that. Returning to the witch, the recluse held out their offering. My, I suppose all growth comes at a cost, no? Feeling a tender hollowness, The recluse declined to answer. The third day. With 2 assignments complete, the recluse could feel their excitement grow. If this witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she was, then that meant that this could be the last night they spent without a child. They hoped so, at least. That was all they could do. Barely remembering to get dressed, the recluse dashed to the meeting spot. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. Welcome back, recluse. Are you prepared? Today is your big day, is it not? The last task is an easy one, or at least I believe so. Bring me something colorful, something bright that you think will suit her. When they were first told of the 3 tasks, the recluse had imagined things that were much more difficult. This seemed so easy as to be a trick, which they supposed only meant they should take it seriously, as if a mistake could mean death. With the death in mind, the recluse needed to decide where to search for color. A field of flowers, a stony river. I've always been the stony river type. I'm gonna go with the field of flowers. If someone wanted color, where else was there to even consider? The recluse decided to make their way to a particularly idyllic field of flowers. The field was filled with an overwhelming amount of choice. Before long, the recluse narrowed the options down to a few. Forget-me-nots, light-hearted blue flowerets, foxglove, purple bell-like blooms, black pansies, a Stygian omen. What's that, a pumpkin? Milkweed, the bright orange herald of the butterflies. Milkweed, a mystical field of flittering life gently yawned into the edges of the setting sun. The recluse nearly forgot what they went there for, drinking in the fresh, honeyed breeze. That was the place. Discovered orange. The recluse returned to the witch's hut, colored item in hand. She silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment, unsure, before finally the witch realized what they expected. Oh, you want your promised daughter, don't you? Her voice was almost mocking, but at least it was not overtly cruel. I suppose I must tell you that I lied, human. I do require several more trifling things from you. First is the matter of payment. The recluse should have known that everything is for a cost. Pay me now with wealth. Pay me now with life. Pay me sometime soon in larger quantities. Pay me at a much later date in the way I choose. The recluse told the witch they couldn't repay her, not anytime soon. That is fine. Of course, I will collect payment eventually. With the payment settled, the witch simply smiled and handed the recluse a small pot. Humans are tricky, but mushrooms are much more resilient. Consider this an upgrade. Don't worry, eventually she will develop a mind. Simply give her time, as much as she needs. Soon your wish will be in full bloom. I suppose with all that settled, though, there is one last thing for you to consider. A young girl needs a proper name. The recluse thought on the witch's demand, before offering the final thing they had to give. What is her name? Her name is Monkey Moo. Now, I had an idea of a name. What was it? But I had an idea of a name. It's a name that I like too. Let me think. Trying to think. How about... I haven't named myself, so I'm just... Then she walked away, only fate knowing if the two should ever meet again. Chapter 2, Cultivation. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions, care for the pot and the dirt and everything that lay within. So the recluse geared up, as any parent should, and assessed the things they needed to raise a child. Finances, in case the nearby village had goods or services that you could not provide. Nutrients for the child to help it grow strong. They would need plenty, as it would be depleted on a daily basis. And finally, the recluse's own stamina could not be ignored. One cannot burn the candle from both ends indefinitely. Thus began the longest growing season of the recluse's life. You realize that, buried in your new goal, you've forgotten to feed yourself, or procure any human food, really. What seems like the most nutritious option? To the village, their market has many enticing goods. To the woods for foraging. Sneak morsels away from your charge. What was this mushroom for again? Looks tasty. To the forest, to the woods for foraging. You know where to find food. It's been something that you've never struggled with previously. It's part of you, and nothing can change that, not even a mushroom. Yeah! Making your way to your favorite nook, you quickly find what you were after. Of course, the generous bounty of treats for your daughter is a nice bonus. The decision being made, life continued. Recently, you've begun to think about your daughter's living quarters, specifically her pot. You have a few ideas how to improve it, but you only have so much time. Which do you decide to move forward with? Buy some fancy substrate from town. What's substrate? Decorate the pot. Use your cooking scraps as compost. Ensure that her soil remains ever damp. Infuse the soil with a drop of your own blood. Let's do this. It sounds very fairy tale-like. In fact, all of the writing so far is marvelously fairy tale-like, and I just feel like this fits. If this mushroom is to be your daughter, you think it's only appropriate to share your blood with her. That is typical of a parent and child, you have been told. You want your daughter to know her parents, so you prick your finger and tell her your darkest secret as you quench her thirst. Though you do not need her to share your burdens in life, you think it's only fair that she has an inkling of what those burdens are. Her quality of life has been improved. Life continued. Huh? Something's happening. Gained something. She's a broccoli. Look at Kitamari. Kitamari is broccoli. She is a broccoli girl. Your daughter has changed in the night. You awaken one morning to the sound of something moving about your home. Your daughter has grown a pair of sturdy legs. This reminds me of Kraken Academy. There's a very charming broccoli girl in that game. The creature walks about easily, using her new strength to push and rummage through your belongings. Her demeanor seems cute and helpful, often following you as you go about your daily tasks. Encourage her cooperation. Spend time nurturing her environment. Motivate her to do something safer. Spend time nurturing her environment. You decide that now is the best time to promote her growth, spending extra effort improving her living conditions. Your daughter seems to appreciate the attention and emotes cheerfully, as only a broccoli can. The decision being made, life continued. I wonder what sounds broccoli makes. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door. Quite a rare occurrence. Peeking through the window, you witness none other than the Witch of the Woods standing on the doorstep of your humble hut. Could she be here for a visit or to settle a debt? Introduce her to your daughter. Privately request a stipend. I feel like the witch is the mother. Like, hi, this is your daughter. Introduce. Look at this ominous thing. Well, I don't have too many great options. I'm going to introduce them, I suppose. Perhaps it was time for your daughter to meet the witch. She could maybe even learn a thing or two. The two of you answer the door and invite the gloomy woman inside for dry and awkward small talk. Something about the way the two absently stare at each other. You wonder if they've made some sort of connection today. The decision being made, life continued. While sitting at home one day, you hear an unexpected knock at the door. Unfortunately, when you go to answer, you find yourself face to face with a man that you never wished to see again. Though he was older now, the scar running down his cheek was unmistakable. It took me a while to find you this time, recluse. The sound of his voice sends a long-forgotten chill down your spine. This man is your former business partner from a time when you did work that was less than admirable. I'm sure all this time alone has given you plenty of time to reflect. Are you finally ready to get back to business? Beg the man to leave you alone. Give the man a significant sum of money to go away. Agree to do business with the man. Kill the man. Ah! Agree to do business? This is a terrible idea. Beg the man to leave you alone. Look at those flowers. Kill the man. Oh, goodness. I don't have... Oh, I do have finances. Agree to do business. You can only run from yourself for so long, you suppose. Perhaps it was time to re-embrace some parts of yourself. After inviting the man in, the two of you speak for several hours. Nostalgia saturates the air, and though you were initially hesitant, the thought of working with him again seems oddly appealing. When he leaves, he gifts you some coin. An advanced payment. He says, oh, we're in trouble. Hopefully this time things will be different. We're in trouble. Huh? Something's happening. Oh, she looks adorable. Your daughter has changed in the night. One morning, you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After some searching, you find a massive clump of mushrooms resembling your daughter protruding in a small clearing. Brushing away some of the freshly turned soil around, you can see the top of your daughter's head, having seemingly undergone a transformation. She twitches in response to your probing, and shifts under the earth again, until the earth again covers her head. Wait for her. Buy her a nice gift to celebrate. Dig her out. Wait for her. Your daughter seems intent on being underground, so you won't disturb her. After waiting for an hour, you decide to let her be and go about your daily tasks, occasionally returning to check on her. Later in the day, you return to find her sitting in the clearing. The creature had now taken the form of a young girl. The decision being made, life continued. Your daughter needs food, too, and you've just run out. You need to find something to feed her soon, or she'll surely starve. Spend the day gathering nutritious substrate. Substrate again. You can't spare the time today. She'll have to go hungry. Oh, no! Oh, wait. Did I pick the right one? I was, a bit hasty, and I meant to pick substrate. It looks like I did pick substrate. After looking through your cabinets, you managed to find enough old substrate to ease your nerves for the time being. You're no expert on mushroom daughters, but they wouldn't just wither up and die after 1 or 2 nights without dinner, right? Oh no, I think I did accidentally select that foolish, pointless option. Look at my finances. Life continued. A flock of hungry birds have been harassing both your crops and your daughter recently. In fact, they've become quite the nuisance. Purchase some poison and forcibly evict the foul sky rats. Use some food to feed the birds with your daughter. Fetch your bow and hunt the birds. Ignore the birds. Okay. Be very careful. Or this way. I'm gonna feed the birds with my daughter. Feeding the birds comes as an unfortunate blow to your stores. Uh-oh. But the cheerful smile as your daughter feeds the birds is a magical moment of pride for you. Gain trait, friend of bird. Nothing could be done to the birds. The matter was laid to rest. You awake to discover that you are out of substrate for the child. Again. It's been a few days. Times are hard. There's just so much to do. As you go to check on her, you get a bad feeling. Needless to say, a growing plant can only go so far without the sufficient nutrients. Perhaps next time the recluse would mine their materials a little more closely. Game over. Oh. That was... Oh my goodness. I mean, that was very, very dumb of me, right? I needed to pay... See, I was so into the storyline, I guess, in a sense. I wasn't even paying much attention to what I should have been paying attention to most of all, which is the stats. I mean, it was very silly to get all those finances up and then the nutrients turning out that way. But I really like this game. It's so wonderful. The whole mood of it, the uniqueness, the fairy tale feel, the quality of the writing, everything. This is a really delightful title. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to look for even more Princess Maker-like games, because this, and of course, playing the original Princess Maker 2, but yeah, I think that this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Check it out in the description. I'll have a link there.